What's good, Hoopers? This is part 2 of our shoulder stability series. If you haven't seen part 1, go check that out first. And pretty much this is for Hoopers that feel maybe a little weak or unstable in their shoulders. I want to help build up the strength from the ground up to be able to return back to essentially feeling like your shoulders are feeling strong with playing basketball or even daily life. So check out that part 1. In that part 1, we go over close chain exercises, which is pretty much pressing your upper body limbs onto a stable surface like the wall or the ground, and that really helps with proprioception. And this second part is going to go over easier exercises for open chain and starting open chain exercises. Open chain exercise is pretty much the opposite of closed chain, when you're pretty much moving your arm freely when it doesn't have anything to provide extra proprioception. So your body is relying more on pretty much body kinesthetics, where you're trying to feel where your body is in space and kind of build that hyper awareness. That's huge because the shoulder joint is inherently a very mobile joint and relies heavily on muscles or active structures like the muscles and tendons to provide stability for the shoulder on top of the passive structures, which would be like the labrum, capsule, ligaments, things like that. So you really want to train both, because both are going to be used in everyday life. Sometimes you're going to be pressing against something, sometimes you won't be. So we really want to make sure you're using your muscles properly, and you need to train them both in close chain and open chain. So like I mentioned in this video, we're going to go over easier open chain exercises. And like part 1, you really got to master this stuff before progressing, because if you're not doing these ones correctly in terms of feeling the right muscles, you're going to start compensating, you're going to be using the wrong muscles, and that's just going to lead down a cascade of compensation as you progress over time. And in this series, we're going to go from kind of more simpler, easier exercises and progress to more higher level, more complex exercises. There's a lot of exercise that you can be doing, but we're going to pick kind of our select few that we feel like target the main muscles, and pretty much you can focus on those and master those to be able to progress throughout this entire series. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Gabe Ignacio, Doctor of Physical Therapy, Board Certified Orthopedic Clinical Specialist, and co-founder of Basketball Doctors. Let's get into the exercises now. Alright, so the first exercise that we're going to go over here is a tall plank pike up, and then we could add a little bit more variation to it. But like we mentioned in the earlier part, if you haven't seen the first part of our video series, go there and do those exercises first, because this is pretty much a progression to those last exercises. So if you can't do those last ones, this is going to be very challenging and you're probably going to be compensating, okay? So the first one is the tall plank pike up. Same cues as we did in part 1. Shoulders engaged, pushing through, core tight, not sagging from the shoulders, not sagging from the hips. Everything nice and engaged. You can go feet a little bit wider for this one. Nice and tight. So the pike up is pretty much trying to go into more shoulder flexion. Try to engage more of your low traps, mid traps. And serratus as you push through the ground is in a more shoulder flex position, coming up and down, really controlling the movement, engaging your muscles, your serratus anterior, your low traps kind of in like the lower part now, and then the back as you push through. And then as you get good at that, the progression here is either going into like a hip tap on the other side, really trying to get used to pushing through and staying stable. As you get good with that, then you could go towards the knee on both sides. And if you get really good, then you can go all the way down to ankle or toe. Staying nice and engaged so your shoulders really pushing through. Keeping the core tight, not getting lazy. Staying nice and engaged. Same form, just working on how far you can reach. Sometimes you might feel a hamstring or calf or nerve tension, so if you can't quite touch your toe because you feel like a pulling sensation down your leg, you don't have to go that far, so that's not the purpose. So just reach, and as far as you can go is there with maintaining good form. That's all good. Don't try and force it. Just reach, control it back. Okay, so the next exercise after that is going to be a push-up rotation. So now we're working on, the last one was more overhead stability, now we're going to work a little bit on rotation. So with that being said, same concepts apply here. So you can go down to push-up if you liked in between, From there, you're gonna get your arm right at the center, engage through, same concept. Rotate as far as you can, keep the core engaged, rotate, come all the way back down. You could do a push-up in between, turn and rotate as far as you can. As you're there, you're trying to engage those back muscles. Say push, try not to sag, keep the core tight, all the way down and through. I'll talk this way, the same thing. So push up in between if you want, turn and rotate. Try to keep the shoulder on the floor engaged. Try not to sag down, bend the elbow. Keep it nice and straight, core tight. Rotate as far as you can. Push up in between, turn and rotate. Okay? So you're not trying to go fast through the movement, you're trying to go slow and controlled. The more slow and controlled you are, the more proprioception and more muscle use you're gonna get. Going quick isn't necessarily better. As you get more stable and you feel like those muscles are firing, well, then you could go a little bit with the speed because that'll cause your muscles to fire quicker and be in sequence faster. But as you're learning and getting used to this, work on controlling the movement. All right, the third exercise and final exercise that we're gonna do for this video is a plank rocker. So kind of like the other ones, we're gonna get into a good position first. So you're gonna be on your elbows or forearms. Wrists are gonna be parallel to your elbows, don't let them cave in because we wanna have your external rotators working in your shoulder. You're gonna be up onto your toes, knees off the ground, tuck your butt under, engage the core. Same thing, push your scaps through. So you really gotta be good with that scap push-up. And then from there, you're gonna maintain that position. You're gonna rock forward as far as you can and backward as far as you can the whole time, keeping those wrists out or parallel to your elbows. And you're pushing through the ground, pushing through kind of that serratus anterior muscle that we're talking about, keeping that scap push-up going. You're gonna go as far back as you can, hold, come forward, same thing, stay nice and engaged. As you do this, try not to sit into your shoulder blades and sag your hips. Everything nice and tight, pushing through, rocking forward and backwards. If you're doing it correctly, you should feel a good burn all the way through here and through your external rotators. If you want to make that a little bit more challenging, you can get a TheraBand, wrap it around your wrist. Gonna engage your shoulder external rotators even more, push through, same rocking back and forth. Okay? And if that's too challenging, same thing as we talked about before, get on a more elevated surface, like a table or a bench, getting yourself a little bit more vertical to kind of build up your strength to getting down to the floor. All right, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those open chain early on exercises to challenge your proprioception, your muscle control, and body awareness when your body and upper body limbs aren't pressing against something stable. Like we mentioned early in the video, please focus on form and making sure you're feeling the right muscles firing, because if you don't, if you compensate, this will just lead you to more compensation when you get to higher level exercise, and using the wrong muscles won't help you. It might feel like, oh, I'm getting stronger, but over time you'll realize that you're just compensating and you're gonna be like, oh, I'm not feeling it there when you get into higher level exercises. So really try and build that body awareness with these exercises. These part 1 and 2 is really focusing on your body awareness and building that proprioception and motor control to be able to progress further along. It might feel really simple, you might not get a huge like muscle pump or whatever that you're used to, but you should feel like a good muscle burn in the right places if you do it properly and do the right amount of reps. If you like that video or learned something new, please help us reach more hoopers by liking, subscribing, share with family and friends. We're just trying to make a difference here on this platform, and we are the Basketball Doctors. Let's ball for life.